hydropower. So this hydropower utilizes the flow of water towards the sea to generate an electricity. So it is the most visible form of energy. You can see the larger dam, so where they create a reservoir and make use of potential energy to convert it into an electric energy. Differences in the water level, that is upstream and downstream, will have some potential energy, so they will make use of that potential energy. Such installation may ranges to produce tens of megawatt to several hundreds of megawatts in their installation capacity and output capacity as well. The power station with 3 George Dam in China is the biggest world's dam. Currently we have the biggest dam in the world is of the 3 George Dam in China, which has a total capacity of 22,500 megawatt. So other very large installations are at Itpat plant at the border of Brazil, so which may produce 12,600 megawatt, and La Grande plant, Quebec, Canada, which produce 15,000 megawatt, and Basa plant in northern Mozambique, which produce 2060 megawatt. Some countries rely to this large extension of hydropower for their electricity production. For example, Brazil, so which may produce around 83% of electricity from its total electricity production, and Argentina will contribute 25% in the hydropower. So rest from the total generating capacity of Argentina, so 25% of energy they are producing from hydro. Similarly, considering the case in Canada, they will produce 60% of energy. You can see that in Canada the plenty of this water availability, so that they are producing 60% of their energy, and also so they might be using some technologies for achieving the efficiency more and more in efficiency. So they are improving their technologies in energy conversion efficiency, so they are getting 60% of efficiency. And also if we concentrate on Chile, it producing 50% of efficiency, or 50% of production from it from the hydro. Or Norway, we can observe 99% of its production from hydro, so almost 100% the Norway, so they are generating their electricity from this hydro. Sweden is contributing for 50%. So in absolute numbers, so Canada and China are the largest hydropower producers, so both with around 330 terawatt hour production per year. For China, however, only 15.8% of its electricity is produced from hydro itself. So this is the overall current status of this hydropower. So there may be amount of electricity produced from hydro steadily rising in our global perspective. Its shares total been going down. So in 1973, and it may some 14,100 terawatt of electricity has been produced from this hydro globally. So this was about 21% of the electricity production in global. So in global, 21% of energy was contributed by hydro in the year 1973. In the 2007, corresponding values were 31,000 terawatt was achieved, about 15% of current trend hydropower towards so they are going in Asia and Africa, and also in South America they are moving towards the installation of these hydro plants. So the plants has been Grand Inda, so it is a Democratic Republic of Congo. So they have been transported this electricity HVDC over whole Africa. So the current installation known as Inga it has a capacity of 1775 megawatt, uses the resource. So this will require huge investment in transmission also, for transmission grid also. So in international African conference, so the required could be, so this was rapidly discussed in many political issues or for political reasons. So in Asia and South America, this is much easier to achieve. So there is no significant extension of hydropower is expected in Europe, so and North America. So this is only a partly due public resistance against larger dam, but also due to most of the attractive locations which are currently in the use. Here it remains unclear how much remaining part can be actually developed, and remote location are itself are no longer barrier. So the experience with other projects like Three George Dam and Charosa Basa has shown the large amount of water power that can be transmitted over long distance by using HVDC technology. So there are many barriers and social environmental impacts of larger artificial lakes in the remote location, as well as the extremely high cost of building such installation. The actual safety of the dam is another issue that could become a barrier for building a very large hydropower station. So building a large hydropower station is very much easy than the maintaining purpose. Whenever it comes to a maintenance, they become fastly the aging of the dam will be very rapid. We have to maintain, and we have to look after each and every gate, the condition of gate, conditions of motor of the gate, the operating conditions, generators, turbines, etc. The maintenance is more. So coming to this, there will be no significant extension of this hydropower except in Europe and North America. So according to 20 to 25% of global potential which has developed here will rise from this hydropower only. So the small hydro may be easier to build, but there are in many constraints in this growth. So this could be achieved only due to lack of proper intensive scheme. The global potential for small hydro is about 500 gigawatt. It's a quite good number, where an upper limit is of 5 megawatt used for small hydro, assuming that utilization of 2500 hours per year. So this would result in increasing the capacity of up to 1250 terawatt per year of electricity. So about 6% of which is about 6% of global consumption in 2007. So the small hydropower station is a property tax in Sweden. For power stations also you can visit the different website, so stating that the installing the small hydropower is comes under this property tax. So 0.2% for wind power, and they apply 0.5% for CHP and 2.2 for hydro. If you visit this global energy sites, you will become to know all these things. Also in 2009, the energy outlook by US Department so sees that hydropower is providing main growth. So renewable energy between 2010 to 2030, hydropower is expected to grow globally. So 3,381 to 4,773 terawatt hour, an increase. Now it has been increased by 1,392 terawatts. So wind power on the other hand is expected to grow from 312 to 1,214 terawatt hour, an increase, and it may increase up to 902 terawatts. Wind power is expected to grow much bigger than the percentage. So the growth is still less here. It is in less number. So this is about the hydro, the current status of hydro and small hydro. Moving on. So we'll see the properties of large hydro. In the picture, what you are seeing is the biggest dam, that is the 3 George Dam of China. First we will see these properties of large hydro. Here hydropower hydropowers are based on larger reservoirs. So is by definitions which are located at remote areas only by definition. So large scale hydropower always requires a stronger transmission system extending to the amount of this hydropower, which requires further strengthening of the transmission system. 3 examples are the 400 kilowatt grid in Sweden, 750 kilowatt grid in Quebec, and a long HVDC link, for example, in Brazil and China. However, especially the long-term variation at a time scale that ranges from day throughout the year. So this makes hydropower is more attractive from a point of view of electricity market, from the electricity market point of view, and also the transmission system operation point of view. Both of the electricity market and transmission operation system time scale longer than few days are normally not important. The long-term variations are, however, important for planning the generation. Any system with a large amount of hydropower need to consider the occurrence of drying years. So this can be either over dimensioning of the reservoir size, or by adding the thermal generation to the energy mix, or through sufficiently strong link with other region. Here to clear the economic advantage also to sell the surplus amount of energy during wet years. These are some of the properties of a large hydro. Moving on, we see the properties of small hydro. Flow of river or a small hydropower could be located close to the customer than the large hydro. Here it remains restricted in mountain areas. It's fine, but these such type of plants, small hydro plants, you can see in the picture, they can be located in the consumer point itself, where the flow of river, there is a way for this flow of river. This flow of river will go to this generating station. After doing the useful work, the river is sent to the same the reservoir stream. So here this is the operating principle. This can be installed near runoff river. Okay. And the small hydropower scheme could be used to strengthen and for the distribution grid in mountain areas. A small hydropower refers to units which may vary from 10 kilowatt to about 30 megawatt. Sometimes they are classified as micro hydro, mini hydro, and small hydro. Here the micro hydro ranges from 10 to 100 kilowatt, mini hydro ranges from 100 to 500 kilowatt, and small hydro ranges from 500 kilowatt to 30 megawatt. Here the Republic of China has nearly 100,000 small hydropower plants which are constructed in last 20 years. You can imagine 100,000 is a huge number. So the distinctive feature of this small hydro power plant includes being usually a runoff river type. So construction is relatively for a short period of time. So using a well developed technology with the overall efficiency, we can achieve up to an 80%. Here there are some of the plants which have the automatic operating capacity also, and with low maintenance. Such type of hydro will have even the maintenance cost is less. So with significant they have with significant storage capacity with larger variation available where water flow may experience. So whenever there is an high water flow in such condition, more amount of electricity can be generated. So in United Kingdom, the capacity of factor for hydro is defined as the ratio of actual energy generated to the actual energy produced at a rated output of 12 months. So this is approximately 30%, which is nearly same as that of wind energy. So here another important multiple choice question, you can see that the capacity factor of hydro. Define the capacity factor of hydro. The capacity factor of hydro is defined as it is the ratio of actual energy generated to the actual energy produced at a rated output over 12 months. So this is the properties of small hydro. Moving on. We see the variation of this hydro with time. Variation in the hydropower with the time depends upon the flow of the water into that reservoir or actual flow of that water through the river. To illustrate this, the data were used of the flow speed of the river. Here one of the river is considered, that is known as Maas or Messis in French. The river name is Maas or French. It is located near the city of Borhan in Netherlands. So its name is Maas. In French it is called as Messis. So it is located at the city of Borhan in Netherlands. This is typically a rain river. The source of these rivers are mountain range in the east of Belgium and in northeast of France. The flow of this river at a location was given from from the midnight to the day from the year 1975 to 2008. So the average flow is estimated here is about 239 meter cube per second. The highest flow measured was during period it was 2959 meter cube per second. You can imagine that is some 10 times greater than this average rate flow. The probability distribution function of this flow is shown in this graph. You can see this is the probability distribution function. The variation in the flow during 2008 are shown in the next upcoming figure I will show. So the flow is the highest during winter month in January and February and lowest during summer. This is same as our solar. Seasonal variation will be there. So this is the probability distribution for the flow of river. This is flow in the meter cube. This is probability density. As the probability density increases, the flow rate will increase. So you can see that the flow rate in meter per second is plotted against the months of 2008 and for a whole year it is plotted. So from the January to February it is February it is quite less, you can see, and it increases in rainy season, that is from January, March, April, May it increases, and some this is because due to the seasonal variation the amount of water has been increased due to rain. After proceeding that March, April, May, this is all summer season, so there may be less chance of rain, and there will be actually no rain itself. Due to this the production is also very less. This is variation of river flow, that is I mentioned Minna river. So the same graph is plotted for every month of the year. It is shown in this figure. So same, but you can see there is a sudden rise in the peak here in the month of June, July, August. So this may be due to some cyclonic effect or unusual rain that may come in here. So which may giving this peak. Otherwise, there will be same. We can resemble the same for a month of June. So from this graph, it is clear that so from January to March or January, March, April, it is usually a rainy season. From June, from April, March end, you can see that the summer comes. So thereby the flow rate is decreased. So this is plotted for flow rate in meter per second, that is from 1975 to 2005. So almost you can increase as in 1995 we have peak amount of flow rate. This also due to a significant amount of increase in the rain also may cause this. So increase in the water level increases the flow rate. So next we moving on. So these are the graphs. So year by year variation in the flow rate from 1975 to 2008, and the left hand side of the figure. So coming to your right hand side of the figure graph, it shows the year by year variation in electricity production from hydro in Spain, that is 1981 to 2006. So the year by year variation in hydro productions are not as large for most of the countries. So it depends upon the size of countries and difference in the climate between different part of countries. Even a country like Chile has experienced some years with a clearly reduced production. So the trend due to building of more production capacity by day increases the flow rate of the river. For same location, the difference has been calculated between measure of flow and the value measure for 24 hours. In 90% of cases, the difference is very less. It is 100 meter cube per second flow rate. So this in most cases does not see an effect. So if you see the year by year variation, this is the year by year variation in electricity production from hydro for a Chile country, from 1980 to 2006, but here in the graph we have only 2005. So from 1980 you can see that an amount of slightly increase in the production of this hydro. So as and when the year progresses, the technology improves, so the conversion efficiency improves, thereby the production of electricity improves. Observe this table, the one change in the flow of river, which is increased in meter per second and decreased in meter per second. So maximum increase may go up to 973 meter per second. So it may decrease up to 660. So when we have to achieve the efficiency 1 to 99%, here the flow rate should be increased by plus 288 or decreased by 165. If it is in the range of 5 to 95%, then it has to be increased by 100 meter cube per second, or it should be decreased by 85%. Sorry, 85 meter cube per second. When it is 10 to 90% of efficiency percentage, so we have to increase the flow rate by 45 meter cube per second, and to decrease by 54 minus 54 meter per second. So this is the time by time variation, year by year variation, month by month variation of this hydro with respect to time. Next we will see this tidal power. So tidal power make use of difference between the high tide and low tide, the water flow between this high tide and low tide. So one of the possible scheme to trap this water at a high tide and let it flow back at low tide. So thus make use of this difference in sea level being high tide and low tide. Other scheme uses the water flow between high tide and low tide to generate electricity also. The former scheme is known as tidal lagoon, so or tidal barrage can be used at a location within a difference between high tide and low tide. So latter scheme is known as this tidal current can be used at a location where there is stronger flow. Tidal lagoon scheme will produce power around low tide, that is about 12 hours once in every 6 hours. A combination of these two schemes is able to produce power 6 times a day. So called as hydrokinetic scheme can be used with a turbine under water level. So this is hydrokinetic scheme what you are seeing in the picture to produce electricity. A water has a much higher density than here, so much smaller turbine can be used for the for this wind power. A scheme with 875 submerged turbines in a tidal lagoon creates a storage behind the dam, so that can be combined with a pumped storage to add some extra power to that tidal. Moving on. So in the picture what you are seeing is the tidal lagoon scheme. The tides are due to the gravitational pull of sun and moon. So the rotation of this earth causes 24 hours a period in tides. The magnitude of tides, that is difference between high tide and low tides, varies a period of 1 month due to the rotation of this moon around the earth. The power of produced this tidal scheme is strongly fluctuating with the time, but it can be very predictable. There are only limited number of locations at which the tidal power harnessing is possible. According to one of the companies involved in the tidal power, about 15% of electricity needs of United States can be covered by this tidal power. So the potential varies strongly between countries to country. For larger power of tidal power production in India and Australia is estimated. A worldwide economic potential of tidal power is stated to be around 180 terawatts per year, which is about 1% of electricity consumption in 2007. The estimation of potential here varies significantly, with mentioning the potential of 2000 to 3000 terawatts per year, about 10 to 15% of global consumption. So can be utilized here. Here is saying that estimation of the potential varies significantly. While mentioning the potential, he has said that 2000 to 3000 terawatts per year, that is 10 to 15% of consumption that is happening. So according to some reference, the potential for a tidal barrier in Europe, it is about 105 terawatts per year, which has an installed capacity of 64,000 megawatt. So this corresponds to 3% of electricity from 2007 electricity consumption in Europe. The potential is further strongly concentrated in Britain, about 48%, France about 42%, and Ireland about 7%. A 240 megawatt tidal power station has been operated since 1966 at the Mouth River in Brittany, France. The annual production of this is 600 gigawatts, which is equals to 2500 hours per production per year, which is 29%. Again, a 20 megawatt installation has been operated since 1984 in Alpasonia River in Canada. Although the potential is regularly stated to be a large, on the other hand, the installation of smaller size has been emerged now. So the plans to build a huge tidal power installation in has some barrages. And also see that England and the Wales, so they are very much interested in this to generate. So a peak power which is of 800 megawatt is needed for such installation, assuming that same 29% of energy for France. So this would produce a 20 terawatts of electricity per year, which is a 5% of UK's electricity consumption in 2008. Some environmental objection against the blocking the moth, and as well as the huge investment cost. So these schemes has been stopped. So the tidal current installation has less environmental impact because of turbines are located below the water level, and there are almost no part of installations are visible so above water. So all the our generators will be submerged in the water. Several installations has been discussed in this way, but still it is in like plus or minus, like carrying out or not in this process. So a 30 megawatt again a tidal current installation is planned in Petland, but here a 300 megawatt tidal current installation is not quite possible, but the researchers have been still going to implement, but they are in still progress, not fully installed. And also in a 300 megawatt tidal current is planned for South Korea with the 300 turbines, each of 1 megawatt producing capacity. So they are also placed on the seabed. Now a similar 200 megawatt installation is also planned for the New Zealand also. All are in progress, but none of them are currently implemented to generate energy. So as this installation will be located where the power is available, so which typically not where the production is enforcement of this transmission systems. So here is also be required. So in either case we go for transmission line as overhead line for the transmitting power, but here since it is water, we have to go for underground cable, and this cost of this cable will be also should be considered for the economic perspective.